promise I give him 100%.
Hey.
Dreams and
Episode
Bills.
3.
Episode 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's get the applause.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Let's get to it, man. Hey, Dreams and Bills podcast, episode number 3 on deck. I like that attire you got. You like the hat, bro? The dad hat.
116.
I got it at a concert.
This is a gang sign. I probably shouldn't do that, right? I'm trying to do 116.
West Coast.
Nah, whatever. Okay, we're gonna have the.
That's the Texas thing. That's like
Texas.
The Houston.
Dude, I'm not American.
Thing.
I don't know. I'm not American. I don't know.
That is true. I mean, I'm not Texan, so I don't know either. So
yeah.
I think it's like some Longhorn thing. Whatever, man. I don't know, man. I'm in California, bro.
Yo, those guys who don't like the celebrities be like, this is the devil, you know? So
it is, careful. Man. Illuminati. All up in my body.
Yeah. Damn. Yo, okay, so.
Well, here we at. Hey, man, I wanted to talk about something real quick because, check it out. If people don't know, Truevind over here is a producer on top of being a rapper. Hey, I'm just saying, putting the plug out there, putting the little quick plug, you know what I'm saying? Not only is he a rapper, he's a singer, I guess, sometimes too, but hey, he also makes beats. So
but he doesn't do leases. He doesn't do leases.
That's what I want to talk about, right? Because look, I've been doing this for like a good over 10 years. Ever since high school. So in high school, never used no beats. Like literally, it was a mixtape grind, man. Whatever was on the radio, we took those beats, we rapped over them, put it on mixtapes, and distribute the CDs, bro. And with the permanent marker on there, that's what I came up into. Then, as we got further into it, SoundClick. I don't know if you know what SoundClick is. That might be.
I was around.
Yeah. Okay. So SoundClick. That's where Soulja Boy got like famous from, right? So we're on SoundClick. As artists when I was coming up, and then that's when I first saw Leases. I'm like, what the hell is a lease? So I looked into it. I'm like, oh, cool. And then a lot of times these producers would go buy one, get one free, buy one, get two free. And I'm like, so I can get a lease? Okay. Because I'm so used to just remixing songs and I don't make no money off of it, which is fine. I just do it for fun. But then I found out about Leases. That's the first time I found out about Leases. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can get 3 beats for the price of one. What, $20 for one lease?
Sign me
up. I can get 3 songs for $20. I can get 20 songs. I mean, no, not 20. $20 and have 3 songs, basically out for distribution. That's great. So
it's a good deal.
I've always, and I've tried making beats. I'm not the greatest. I'm pretty bad at it. I didn't have time to really learn it and stuff. So when I grew up, I was always looking at leases. I have a ton of leases, like an infinite amount of leases. Some I still haven't used yet from 2014, 2015, and so it's like, okay, that's cool. But then, now that I'm like a little older, and I think I brought this up to you, right? So, one thing I've neglected to do a ton also is copyright my lyrics. I mean, I can't copyright my beats because I don't own the beats, but I can copyright the lyrics, which I haven't done either. And one thing that like kind of frustrated me was not frustrated me per se, but I showed you there's that one song I did on that you made the album cover for Mint, and I did that Mint song. The Mint song is a lease that I got from the site called $20beats.com. All I do are leases, $5 leases usually. So I got the lease from there, I did the song, and I just put it out there. And then a few months later, I saw this 2 Chainz video with like E40 and I think it was Lil Wayne or something called $2 Bill or something like that.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay. And I usually listen to 2 Chainz. I'm like, let me listen to this. And then it was like, and it sounded like my song. And then in my second verse, I was talking about, I'm rare, I'm mint condition, like pristine, that's what the song about. And then in the second verse, I said, I'm rare. Like, I forgot exactly what it's horrible. I know my own bar, but whatever. So in the hook, they go, I'm rare. I'm rare. Like literally. And my hook is, I'm mint. I'm mint. And then the beat sounds similar. And I'm like, dude, just imagine, and then I think back, remember Flame, Joyful Noise? And then Katy Perry did that thing, and they, it's not about the money, but in the grand scheme of things, he got paid out because they stole his idea. You don't know if you become a victim of it. I don't know if I was a victim of it or if it was just coincidence, but I'm just saying, like, at that point, it's kind of like, money, yeah, of course you can get paid for, this is your creation. So if someone was the jacket, it's kind of messed up. But then I'm also like, well, it's my creation, but I don't own it. Right? So that's the
but do you own it if you lease it? That's the question.
No, you don't own
Exactly.
You're saying if I lease the beat, I don't own the beat.
Exactly. So like maybe the producer, because if you submit it to YouTube, is it YouTube ID? I forget what it's called, where they can detect the sounds on it. So if you have it on YouTube, the guy can probably, I don't know, maybe detect all the places or all the songs that uses beat. I don't think he can, but it's possible.
Yeah,
but
well, there's that. See, like, and that's what's crazy, right? So I reached out to $20 Beats and I showed them. I'm like, hey, because I don't own the beat, they do. So I was like, hey, you might want to look at, but I don't know if that's a real form of contact. Like, so no, I never heard back from it. But that's one example. And then just real quick, another example. So one of my homies, he makes music too. So he did Leases for a while. So he did this lease. He did this song. I think he did it for, I forgot what it was called, but I remember because I mixed and mastered it for him. And then like 5-6 months later, Benja released this album, right? And it had that beat. Yeah, are you familiar with Benja? He did this song called My Everything.
Yeah.
My Everything. That beat, I don't know if he bought it. I don't know if he leased it. But it's the same beat my friend leased.
Well, so the thing
I
is,
let him hear it. Yeah.
The thing with leases, you can lease it to multiple people, and it's going to stay on the producer's website. Then once someone buys it exclusively, now it's taken off. So there could have been 10 people who leased that beat, but Benja is pretty famous, right? So he makes a song that blows up, and whenever anyone hears that beat, they're going to think of Benja's song, and they'll think yours is a knockoff remix version, even if you technically you don't own it. You have certain rights around that beat, right? So,
you have rights to that beat, and that's what's weird to me, right? Like, so he got pissed. My homie got pissed. I'm never leasing a beat ever again. I'm only gonna make my own beats. And I thought about that, and just maturing as an artist. I'm not recording as much as I used to, but when I do, I want to make sure that I own everything. I want to make sure. So my lyrics are my lyrics. I wrote them. My voice is my voice, and I want to make sure. I mean, I might not make the beat, but I want to make sure I pay to own the beat. You know what I'm saying? So I purchased a few beats because that's the thing you're mentioning, leases. I'm a producer. I made a beat. I put it on a website. 20 people leased the beat. Here and then here comes the artist. Hey, I want to buy it. Okay, you got it. But then 20 other people have some type of access to it, and they can make a song out of it and still have the right for that song. So I don't like that, man. I don't like that at all. I'm just not feeling that. So
all this is a good intro. Let's break it down and talk about it from the producer's perspective.
Okay.
And
before
perspective.
Yes.
And see if it makes sense for either.
Yes, but I want to say that situation, right, with 2 Chainz, my homie, I got one soundbite for that, okay? One soundbite. Okay. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so from the producer perspective, man, you're a producer, so I'd like to hear your side of how you feel about that.
So before we say what our conclusion is, I guess the question we're trying to ask is, does it make sense for either the producer or for the artist, for both or for neither of the two, right? Because if this is such a commonplace practice, it's got to be making sense for someone, right? But does it? Yeah. I don't know. I'll give you my personal experience with leasing, because I have sold quite a lot of beats, but I was never like a well-known producer, I don't think. My sales of beats were more so from word of mouth. People would hear my beat somewhere else and were like, where do you get it from? Blah, blah, blah. Right? So in my experience, leasing made no sense, right? Because you're leasing a beat for, let's say, $15, $20, right? Mm-hmm. And then some other guy's like, oh, I want to sell more beats. I'm going to do 3 for 20. Another person's going to be like, you know what? I'm going to do 4 for 15, right? So it's like a race to the bottom, because the producers want to make more money. So it's definitely not benefiting most producers. It only benefits the producers who have a lot of people who are their customers, right? They have a lot of fans or listeners or are well known. It definitely did not benefit me. I tried leasing. I leased some and realized that, okay, cool. So I've got I've got not a lot of people who come to buy beats from me. But if an artist who's not that serious sees a lease, right, he's probably going to go for the lease because it's an easy way to get a good beat, right?
Yeah.
They were like, I'm going to go for that lease instead of buying an exclusive. And I never sold my exclusives for that much money. It's like $200 ish. I probably started at 50 to 100. So I think I maxed out at 200 before I was like, you know what? It doesn't make sense for me to be selling beats. I like this beats way too much. I'm just rapping them myself.
You're gonna use it yourself.
Pull a Kanye West. It's like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can rap too. I'm just gonna like rap my beats. I like the beats too. So in my opinion, it doesn't make sense for producers to lease beats because it devalues music. Now, if all your beats are like cookie cutter, just slight variations of templates, you just pluck in sounds and tweak the sounds, replace the snare and the hi-hat, the same bass sounds, which a lot of beats are. If you're known for a specific sound and that's all you make, I get it. Maybe each beat would not take you that long to make. I've made beats in like 30 minutes when I just have to remix an old beat, just replace some sounds, change some arrangements and stuff. In that case, it makes sense. Go for it. Sell it for like $20. It doesn't hurt, right? But I personally don't think it makes sense for producers, except if you have a huge number of listeners who are gonna go to your beat store and just buy all those beats. Let's say you've got like 2,000 listeners, right? If 200 of those 2,000 buy a lease, you're making a good living versus a producer who's got 20 listeners and maybe 2 people buy a lease. It's like you made $40. It's not worth it. You spent more time making something that, like, as a musician, everyone who makes art knows that you connect to your art. You invest in it, right? So it's like it depends on how you value yourself. Do you think your beats are worth more or less? I thought my beats, or I think my work is worth more than $20. And another reason why I think it doesn't make sense, I think it allows artists who are not that serious to just like get good stuff for free. I'm like, if you're not that serious, there's probably others who make, decent instrumentals and beats that you could get for free or for cheap, because you can get free beats as well, right? Like, so that's my first take. I've got more takes on the producer side as well, but I want to hear the artist.
I mean, yeah, to your point, you got artists that maybe not so serious. I was like that personally, right? So that's why I found the value in leasing, to your freaking point, right? So I was like, you know what? Instead, and one thing I didn't really realize when I was growing up making music just for fun, for form of self-expression, therapy, honestly. It's expensive, bro. It's expensive to make music.
It is expensive. Yeah.
Being a musician is very expensive. So
for both the producer and artist.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah.
But then from an artist perspective, it's like, you know what? I need a nice I need a nice beat, so I can use and rap over. I could go the exclusive route. And a lot of producers, I mean, you're being very modest. A lot of producers charge $500, $1,000. There was a time back in the day when I almost signed with an independent label, a local label, and they worked with a local producer, right? So the dude that owned the label, he's like, hey, let's partner together. We can buy 2 beats, okay, from this local producer that's very well known. So we'll just split it 50-50. I'm like, okay, cool. So how much am I gonna what's the split? He's like $3,000. I'm like, for 2 beats?
Hell no.
For 2 beats?
Like, I was like, what are you giving me?
What? I'm not even signed up yet. Wait, 3,000? Wait, so $6,000 for 2 beats? I mean, this producer was really good, but I'm like, that's not a lot of money. So if I'm an artist and I'm not like 100% serious, or I might not have the funds, you know what I'm saying? Like, so leasing is very attractive, especially if you have access to a producer that makes the beats that speak to you, or even beats that are modern that can help you blow up. You know what I'm saying? So it's very enticing. Yeah.
Question: why would artists have to go to the $3,000 producer when there's cheaper producers? For example, why would an artist who's not signed or who is not got a huge fan base, why would you go to Zaytoven to buy a beat?
For the
Like
clout,
it
bro.
doesn't even make sense. But like you can't eat off clout. You know what I mean? It's guys are not thinking of a 3,000 for a beat. If you're no offense to your friend, if you're more strategic with your funds, $3,000 can like do a lot for one single. You can pay for a very, very good beat. You can get it mixed and mastered professionally, and you can still have $1,500 or $1,000 to just do promo.
That 3,000 might have included that. I don't know, but
even if it includes the mastering and mixing and all that stuff, that's overkill for an artist who's not established with the budget, right?
Yeah. So. Well, the problem with that, right? So, I guess one of the issues, right, in terms of working with other producers that aren't as expensive, you don't know them. You know, they're unknown.
Right.
They're like, you know, there's so many producers out, and you know the ones that aren't very well known. Of course, they're not going to charge an arm and a leg because they're still trying to get their name out there. But that's the whole thing; they're trying to get their name out there. So it's like you don't know them, you know. And but then there are.
Yeah. So go ahead, finish your thought.
I was just saying, and there are other producers out there, but then you list, you know, that they don't all speak to you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a bunch of producers, and growing up for me, I grew up to a lot of East Coast. I liked a lot of like boom bap. And it was hard to come by. There was only a certain few artists, a few producers with that specific sound. And, and even if you're adaptable, like I can rap to whatever. Not everything's good, and not everything is like I don't want to spend a few hundred. You know, I'd rather spend $20 on a beat that sounds better. So from an artist standpoint, it's like that's what I'm looking at. I didn't look at the ownership. I didn't look at any of that. Just to go, hey, I can get this beat that sounds hella dope. I can, and it'll complement my voice, and it can be a slap. It can be a hit, and I gotta spend $20. You know, so. That's the perspective versus, hey, I can work with a local producer or one that's less known and I can actually buy a beat from them, or I can work with them. They can customize a beat for me for $200. Yeah, you know? It's just like wow, yeah, that's another zero.
It's a lot of zeros for a beat. But so I guess for step one, the first phase of the argument, it makes sense for artists who are just coming up to buy leased beats. Right? So that's the first stage. It makes sense if you're just beginning, you're trying to just just do it for fun. It makes sense. Yeah. That part makes sense. As a producer, though, I think what I would do is I'd probably have some beats, not my best. I'll have my A plus beats for the big name artists, which I think a lot of producers do. They have some beats they send directly to artists.
Yeah, I think.
But like, there's still many producers who every now and then, like you see Russian boys, like they'll produce a beat for someone who's famous, right?
I got some beats. I think I got some beats.
Yeah, I know.
Right? It was hella cheap.
Exactly.
Lease, but like a little package.
But so it makes sense for like as a producer. I think what would make sense is you have your A-lister beats that you don't lease, and then you have your B-grade beats that you lease for the upcomers, right? Because on the flip side, as an upcoming artist, if you have a song that blows up, Leases have a contract. You cannot sell more than 5,000 copies without buying
then you
like
gotta
an
release it or whatever.
license. Exactly. Yeah. But now you're stuck. If someone else has bought the beat exclusively, you can't buy
then you're screwed. Yeah.
Exactly. So you got to take the song down legally, because they can legally pursue you and sue you for any extra streams you've made, right? They can legally, right? So it doesn't make sense for any artist who is kind of serious. If you're kind of taking your work seriously and you're investing in marketing on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all the big platforms that you market your stuff on. Yeah. If you're investing money on marketing your song, and there's a chance that it could blow up, it makes zero sense to lease the beat.
You know what comes to my mind? It probably doesn't make any sense, period, bro. Like, because there's this one artist, what's his name? The Asian dude, Rich Brian. You heard of him?
No.
He made this song about a fanny pack. I swear to God, man. He made a song about a fanny pack or something. It's this Chinese dude. I swear I thought it was a troll song, and it probably was. But now he's hella popular. So that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you're not serious and you're just screwing around and you make some song and you just put it out there, it don't even if you don't even market it, maybe it'll catch on. You never know. You got TikToks and stuff like that. It can just catch on. And then to your point, what you were mentioning, that whole situation, you're screwed.
Yeah.
If it exceeds a certain amount of streams, and then you're like, hey, yo, I need that beat now because it's popping off.
Right.
If it's sold, you're done. That's it.
What about
that doesn't ever make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And another reason why artists shouldn't, I don't want to come across, I'm like, because I'm the producer, I'm saying don't lease beats by exclusives, but there's too many reasons why it doesn't make sense for artists. Another example is if your song blows up, or let's say it doesn't blow up, but like an executive from the film industry hears your song, they're like, I like that song, I want to put it on a series or in a movie. You have to have the rights to it, right?
Oh, you know about that. I know about that.
I've had one song, but you have to have the rights to it. Because if you don't have the rights to it, they're liable for distributing something that they don't own. Exactly. The person can sue for it, right? So on that front, it doesn't even make sense. Most like music sync agencies will not accept music that you don't own the full copyrights to, right?
That's a very good point, yes.
Yeah, they won't accept it, number one, and that's one of the easiest ways or the biggest ways to make actual money in 2022 as a musician, right? Because streams don't pay nothing. Most people don't buy CDs. If you have merch, like, I guess you might sell from merch, but the 4 or 5 figure deals for independent artists are coming from like usually music sync and like stuff like that, right? It's on TV. So
I got another thought about leases from an artist perspective. Okay. All right. Buy one, get 2 free. Buy one, get 3 free. Awesome. I'm going to buy these. I'm going to buy these. Okay. You're leasing all these beats. Do you have the time really to take the time and really craft quality music?
Exactly.
Yes. And craft a quality song. You're having a saturation of beats. You're just going to try to like, oh, I'm just going to rap over it. You don't have time to really dissect it. You don't have time to really like just marinate with it and really create something. Focus on one thing versus there's so many, all these beats here. I'm just going to filler, release. That's another, and I can speak personally on that because I bought so many beat leases.
You got folders.
I got folders. I was looking at my old stuff. I was looking at my old stuff, and I'm like, oh, beats for this project. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, these are beats from 2012. I still didn't use them. Oh, these are beats from 2006. Oh, I forgot I even had these. Like, and then something. And I mean, I wouldn't spend that much on them, but to the point, there's so many beats, and then it's just like, honestly, as an artist, I got burnt out a little bit, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use this beat. I'm gonna write about this. This beat, I want to write about this. It's like, okay, I'm going from one beat to the other. Let's just focus, right? Stay focused on just 1 or 2 beats, not like 10 at a time. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. And then you end up not using them. So in a way, you're kind of wasting your money.
you are. I was gonna say that.
Yeah,
you are wasting money. Like, because even if you use one of those 3 beats. Like, because most people don't just lease one time. Like, because many times you might be looking for just 1 beat, and they're like, oh, it comes with 3, so I'll just get 3 beats, and then next time you get more beats. I think producers who do stuff like this are just devaluing their work, right? Like, I think it's actually a symptom of our culture. Consumerist. I think if you do that, you don't really think your beats are worth $20. Because if your beat was worth $20, you wouldn't attach another one for free. You'd be like, no, it's worth $20 as a lease. That's it.
100%, bro. Just the other day, man, I went to Bev Mode. I like the Cabernet wine. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get a $20 bottle. I'm going to get a $30 bottle. And Bevmo has the buy one, get one for 5 cents, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get the one that's $29.95. Then it's 2 bottles for $30. I'm like, that's a great deal. But then, so my wife brought home from a winery like a few months ago a $60 bottle of wine. No buy one, get one free. Just $60 straight up from the winery. And it was delicious. It was so good, especially when you have it with steak. It's so good. So yesterday, I opened one of those, you know, buy one and get one for 5 cents, $30 for 2 bottles. Tastes like garbage. So to your point, if it's a buy one get one, then it's truly the value of the original is not really valued there.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And guess
Like,
what? And speaking on the, I'm gonna say, speaking on the leases, right? When you say buy one
yeah.
get one free, guess
Yeah.
what, dude? Remember we leased 2 beats from Superstar O? We still didn't use them.
Yeah. Yep. We're guilty. We do it too. Yes. Yeah, because the fact of the matter is, like, if you see a beat that you like, as just a normal human being who buys stuff, if you can access something you like for cheaper, you're gonna spend less on it. It's just the fact, right? Why would you spend $200 when I can get access to it for $20? It makes no sense. So it's like the culture requires producers to lease beats, or you don't get as many sales. I mean, that's one way. I feel like the whole music market is not very friendly and welcoming to producers, because if you don't lease your beats or partner with a label or an artist who's blowing up, how do you make your money? I mean, you can produce music and just make instrumentals and try and get your stuff on TV and release albums and stuff, but you need to market that stuff as well. You're basically an artist now, right? You can't just be a producer anymore and make money. It's not possible. You need to be like a machine. You got to be remixing songs. You need to partner with people. You need to release albums. You need to get your stuff on TV. All this stuff. If you're trying to be a full-time producer, right? That's the only way.
Yeah.
Same thing for the artist as well. So that's why it doesn't make sense for either or. Both have to work as hard to make money from music. I mean, music equipment and stuff it's a lot cheaper and accessible nowadays, but it's still expensive. It's not free.
Yeah, you can get. I mean, it's so equipment nowadays is so easily accessible. Especially, it doesn't even have to be the best quality. I mean, you can get you can get a good setup. I mean,
however, I think as a producer who's spent, I think I've probably spent thousands. I can say that I've spent thousands on like music gear, but the actual gear for recording is actually easier. So like in my opinion, you can push back if you think I'm wrong. You can get a microphone for like $70. You can get a free recording software to record your music on. And if you have a computer, that's probably the most expensive part of like the purchase, right? As a producer, baseline, you need a computer, a good computer. Or it doesn't have to be good. You need a computer, basically. But if you're doing things legally, you need to have a DAW, which is, like, I use FL Studio. The producer edition is Canadian $3.99 or so. You can get it for sale during Christmas for cheaper. Then you got to buy the VST plugins. And now those things add up.
Expensive. Yeah.
Exactly. Those go into thousands when you start spending overtime, right? So it's still expensive. Unless
you go to a place where people live that go Arr. But you know. But no, I mean, I have a DAW too. I bought Logic Pro, but a lot of these, I mean, that's it. I mean, for producers, I mean, you got to get the VSTs, you got to get all the different plugins, of course, and then probably a physical like keyboard, and there's a lot of different things you have to.
I mean, I never bought a physical keyboard. You can go far without a physical keyboard. Like if you know music theory,
you can use a piano. You can use your typing keyboard.
Exactly. That's what I've done all this while. Just QWE, But is there anything else to say? That's basically it. Like,
I think end of the day, there's to me there's no value in a lease, but to like, I mean, here's also the issue. Like I said, when I was in high school and stuff, I was just remixing songs, and the only other way to go about getting legit songs, at least in my circle, was just working with a producer, getting a custom beat, and then just working together. Leases weren't really that much of a thing at that time.
Back then,
yeah, at least from my perspective. I don't remember really talking about leases until like SoundClick. When SoundClick and all the streaming stuff online started, then it's like, okay, here we go. But back then it wasn't really, and I'm showing my age now, but it wasn't really like much of that, right? So, but then along with, I guess, but now everyone's a rapper, right? Everyone's a rapper. Everyone's a singer.
Everything is easily accessible, right? Back then,
everything's easily accessible. So everyone's an artist. So along with that also comes instrumentals. Instrumentals become easily accessible via leases. So that's the beast of what it is. But yeah, I mean, I think our points are pretty valid in terms of like, as an artist, whether you're serious or not, you never know what might happen to one of your songs. You might not, you never know. 2 Chainz might steal your damn song. I don't know. So you never know, you know?
Yeah.
So I just feel like, I mean, maybe it's just growth. I mean, people that are younger, maybe the lease is cool, but at this point, you know, I'm not trying to make 5 songs in a week. You know, I'm trying to make maybe 1 a month or something like that. And if I do that, you know, I want to make sure it's the best I can make and that I own everything, because you never know. You never know.
You never know.
Maybe 2 years down the road, it might blow. Remember, look at that Andy Mineo's Lecrae song coming in hot. Like they released that, and it didn't have much traction until 2 years later. It blew up on TikTok and stuff and Instagram. So yeah, I think that's the main thing. Is like you never know. So it's exclusives, I think, is the way to go. And I think partnering, producers and artists partnering with each other, I mean, that's super important versus just having a big pool of random people that you don't even really know, building a relationship and working together. I think I always look for that, you know, like, cause that's cool. I think I'm a people person in general too. And that I always look for that, but I think that's pretty important, man. Like,
music and collaboration, it's better when, I mean, we can speak from experience. It's easier to make songs when you're working with someone else. Like it cuts the 2 artists working together can get a song done faster. Usually depends on.
We also learn from each other too, you know.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of and you just build friendships. I mean, that's cool. I mean, leases are what they are.
It's just consumerist. It's like you just want, so you get. It's just more and more and just get and get. But like,
and I understand the business behind it. You know, like I mentioned, we got 2 leases from Superstar O. I'm sure Superstar O gets a ton of leases bought.
Exactly.
So he's probably making bank.
He's famous. Like he's a pretty well-known producer. It makes sense for some producers if that's your business model, which is a business model. It's like they found a way to brand themselves around leasing. He's probably got a YouTube channel. He does. He has a
Twitch. I follow him on Twitch and everything. Like he's cool. But here's the thing. So the bigger the producer, it works for the producer. So I guess it just depends, right? So in that situation, it works for him. He's probably making bank off of that. But how many artists are using the same beats? How many artists on Spotify and Apple Music releasing a single? It's the same beat. You know?
I mean, and technically, like, depending on how good, I mean, because artists, like, you know, if you're creative enough, you can flip a beat to make it sound different. The thing with music is when you buy a beat, you don't have to use it as is. Like, if you're, I mean, I'm a producer. So
if you lease it, you can tweak it and you won't get in trouble for it.
No, you own it. Like, you just don't own it. If that makes sense, right? You have
that
the
unit.
Right. Yeah, to use that unit, right? So you can cut and chop. If you find a part in that beat you like, you can just loop it. Except if the contract says you can't, then like why would you even lease why would you even lease the beat if they say you can't do anything to it, right? Yeah, so an artist can hear a beat and lease it and do something with it, blah blah blah, but it doesn't make sense. It makes sense for big producers who are pretty famous, but like I mean, DJ Khaled is not leasing beats.
Even a producer?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess I don't know. Maybe he's not. I think he's more producer, but not a beat maker. If that makes
sense.
He's
a middle person. I think he just puts artists and producers together. And
Zaytoven lease beats. I feel like he did back in the day.
You know who? Okay. Final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts. So I wanted to elaborate on one thing you said, where some producers send their really good beats to the artists that they're closely connected to. Then they have just beats that are whatever, and then they have it out there for everyone else.
That's wisdom.
You know who does that? You know who does that?
Who?
Brandon P, aka Black Knight, because his beats, I love his beats. Okay, and then he said, "Hey, I'm selling these beats exclusives for $100 or something like that." I'm like, oh, sick! I need one of his beats. I go on the website. I'm like, these are not whack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like so but what he's doing is, because he's Brandon P, he's Black Knight, who's huge in the CHH circle. He's a well-known name, right? So he can sell, because there's lots of beats I've made that I wouldn't sell just because I'm like, it's not up to the standard of what I put out. But like, if you're famous by default, saying you have a beat by a famous producer kind of adds some clout, makes your song a bit more to be taken seriously. I don't know if it does that anymore, to be honest.
Might give
not
more
as much
exposure,
though. Because think about it, like, it only makes sense nowadays to buy a beat from a producer if when you release the song, you can say, you could put the producer's name, right? If you
or have that tag, producer tag in there.
well, that doesn't do much though if you think about it, right? Like, because many producers who are famous nowadays collab with artists, so they've got a Spotify page, right? So if you go to the Spotify page, any song that features them or like has them as a co-artist gets listed on their page, then their fans see your song. That's when it makes sense to like work with a big name artist. If you're just buying a beat from Zaytoven and there's like literally like no, because mentioning Zaytoven doesn't get you streams. It's people who know of Zaytoven who like go stream all the stuff that would find your song, right? So like, it makes sense in that instance, right? But he doesn't lease beats, by the way. He doesn't lease beats. You got to drop probably like 4-figure amount, to minimum to like get his beats, right? So
yeah. I mean, it's a good discussion point. I mean, it's been bugging me because I've been, and that's why this was even brought up, because I was going through my box folder because I was like, oh man, what have I? Yeah, what? Well, yeah. Besides the leased beats, I'm like, I mean, unfinished songs with those leased beats, but I also have songs that I have exclusive that the beats are exclusively owned by me that I bought. Right. So, and I didn't release those either. So it just made me put me in a word like I'm like, oh, you know what, this song is not that great, or to me, it's not the greatest, but I own it. So there's value in that too. So
and you can flip. The thing is, like, if you find a beat that you like you don't have to use it as is. That's the thing with music or beats. You can just, I mean, I know this because I sample and do stuff all the time. So whenever I hear anything, I don't think I have to use it as is. I just I do what I want with it. Like, it's mine. I can do what I want. Right? So it's like, just
and to your point, with it. The song we about to finish up, the code, the hook. But, you know, I got the stems because I got the exclusives for that.
Right.
Shout out stem player. No, I'm just playing. But the hook, the hook had this bass line that was only in the hook and not in the rest of the song. And it was the rhythm and the melody was way different, and it didn't match. It didn't blend well. I couldn't. So my initial hook that I sent you, it didn't sound. Nothing sounded right with it because it just switched. It was so weird. And then so I literally muted it, and cut the drum, the kicks that were in the verse. And I dragged it there and matched it up, and it sounds beautiful. So yeah, to your point, tweak it up and stuff like that.
Musicians, no, like that's a good point.
Able to own the beat, like, I mean, it's cool to have the stems, so I can actually like dissect it, like track by track.
Even if you don't have the stems, to all the artists out there, when you buy a beat, you don't have to use it how it's arranged. You can rearrange parts of it. You can rearrange it and do what you want with it. You got to be creative. You can add a low pass filter in some parts. Do whatever, just like make it your own. Creativity, guys.
That's what it's all about. Creativity. All about did you have any other thoughts that you did not express? I'm good. But
I'm good, man. Like, I think we covered. All right. Yeah, I mean, it might sound biased, but maybe we can do a part 2 sometime with someone else who's super pro leases. But I don't think you can convince me that leases are the way to go. Part of this whole streaming culture thing, devaluing music. It's making music just microwave stuff, just pop, popcorn,
Yeah. Hey, man, this is a good conversation.
Good job. Yeah, dude. I am so proud of you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Well, hey, those sound effects are fire, right? Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, well, that's episode 3.
Episode 3, hey, Instagram, find me. I am Mike01, and that's the same handle on Twitter as well.
And it's going to be beneath your image on the final.
Oh, I guess I don't even. Oh, you know what?
For Spotify and other places that are
audio only, you know what I'm saying? There
right. And for me, TrueVind on Twitter. TrueVind. This is a D. I'm not Jesus. TrueVind. Know what I mean? Okay. John 15:1. Go read that.